HarperCollins and HarperAudio present The Sacred Bridge, a Leaphorn, Chee, and Manuelito novel by Anne Hillerman, performed by Delanna, Studi. Glossary narrated by World War II code talker Peter Macdonald Sr., our Navajo language expert, who provided proper pronunciations for terms throughout this audiobook. One. The young Navajo man froze for a moment and dealt with his fear. Even all these years after the accident, looking at the vast expanse of cold lake water still left him frightened. When the nightmarish idea arose that his boots might slip and that he could tumble down the pale sandstone and into the lake, he shoved the thought to the back of his brain. But his palms had started to sweat. He took a deep breath and ordered himself to get a grip, to calm down, to go in beauty. His apprehension had begun years before, when Lake Powell was higher and he was smaller, just a boy. He had been walking along the shoreline, looking for insects. Then he tripped on a rock and lost his balance. He could still taste his panic as the icy, bottomless water enveloped him. He could still feel the iron grip of the terror that paralyzed him. Unable to keep his head above the deadly lake, he sank, breathless, too scared to struggle. Finally, his brother's strong arms pulled him back to life, to the surface where he could gasp for breath. After an eternity, they reached the dry safety of the shore. He was only 8, but the experience changed him from the inside out. His brother wanted to teach him to swim, but he had none of it. He knew Lake Powell was a lurking, evil monster ready to suck him into its frigid depths. He respected its power, and now, after decades, he could sometimes see its beauty, but only from afar. When the ancient ones he admired, the ones who had left their marks on the rocks here, saw water, they beheld rivers, the area's flowing lifeblood, not this giant, human-made pool trapped by a dam. The young man forced his gaze from the water's dangerous, seductive shimmer to the sky. He took a long breath and made himself move with caution across the unforgiving sandstone, heading back toward his campsite and then to the boat dock. But a sound behind him stirred his curiosity and he turned, careful not to lose his balance on the steep slope. Time compressed. First, a whooshing noise, then a heavy thunk against the back of his head. He fell forward with the sound. The searing pain lasted only a moment. After that, his damaged skull couldn't protect his brain. If he had been conscious, he would have noticed the warmth of the rock cliff, a gift from the October sun, against the skin of his torso. But he had transitioned to the space beyond human senses. He didn't fear his body's growing momentum, as the energy of the fall and gravity's pull drew him toward the water. He didn't feel the abrasive stone bloodying the skin of his arms, cheeks, and forehead. When his physical self finally slid into the deep, icy water of his nightmares, he didn't even flinch. Death had come quickly, and now the place that had long terrified him began to make its amends. The lake gently rocked him as it washed away the blood. 2. Jim Chee looked out at the broad expanse of water known as Lake Powell. The huge dam that created this immense desert lake had destroyed the sacred junction where two vital rivers merged. The San Juan River, the Meltwater, forms one boundary of the Navajo Nation, whose people Chee served as a police officer. The water from the San Juan flowed into the female water of the Colorado River, whose spirit is called Life Without End, when they met in Glen Canyon. The old story spoke of the two Navajo deities embodied in the rivers. When they joined, they created the water children of the cloud and rain people. Some said that the dam's dishonoring of the confluence led to the long-standing drought that had reduced the volume of the lake itself to less than half. Chee stretched his tired legs along the sand and readjusted his back against the cliffside.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?